This is my Devo7 transmitter, and I will show up how to set it up with the simulator HelisimRC. It's fairly straightforward here. There's a couple of things that you're going to need to watch out for. In the system mode, or system menu, basically I have mode 2. Most people do use mode 2 in the US, other countries don't, so you might have to modify some things from my settings. That is all that I have in the system menu. In the model menu, I did set up a new model that was called Simulator, so that way it has its own model. I named it Simulator. The rest of this stuff here, type should be Heli, step should be, leave it the same as it was. Input, output, unless you went around changing those a whole lot, those should remain the same as well. Swash, this is important. This will need to be at 1 normal. And a lot of the helicopters fly with 120 degrees, but the simulator will need 1 normal on this, and that is the swash menu. Amplify, fix ID, all of that I left the same. Function, reverse, I have left everything at normal. Travel adjust at 100%, subtrims where they were. DR, EXP, I left DR at 100%, EXP at linear. You can actually control this in the HelisimRC software on your computer, so it doesn't really matter what you have set here on your transmitter. Throttle hold, I don't usually use throttle hold on the transmitter, or sorry, on the simulator. I use it when I'm flying. I haven't been using it on the simulator. But you can set that up, and it doesn't matter what you set up here. It will only matter what you have on your actual simulator software. I'll get into that in a minute here. Throttle curves, the same. It doesn't matter what they are. The gyro, also, you will use your software to set that up. You can use your transmitter to set it all up, but I use the software. Pitch curves, also I use the HelisimRC to set that. Program mix, monitor, safe, all of these just don't matter. Just leave them the same as they were. So that is basically that here in this transmitter. Now the rest of it you will need to set up correctly in the software. One thing to note on mine, this top switch up here is normally your stunt mode or flight mode switch, but on the simulator for some reason that wasn't showing up. So what I'm doing, I'm using this gear switch. I set that up to be my flight mode switch on the simulator, and I'll show you where that's set up at in a minute. Alright, so once you have that set up like that, you can go into your HelisimRC software. See if we can get this to focus at all. Simulation, pretty much all of this, just leave it where it was. You can change wind and turbulence, speed to make it go faster or slower. You might want to slow it down if you're learning. Trails, training modes, you can play around with this stuff if you want. Graphics, I left it all pretty much where it was. Model, you can save different model settings. If you go through and change all your model settings, you can save them and then load them at different times. So if you want to make one model feel more like your 450 helicopter, the other one feel like your 200 size helicopter, you can change all that. Here in model is where we get into our exponential rates. I have 5% across the board right here. Gyro settings, head hold, most people fly in head hold. You can make a drift, you can change a gain just to make it feel more like your own helicopter. Normal pitch curve, I normally fly in idle up mode or stunt mode. So this I think is just what the simulator software came preset on for the normal pitch curves. And the normal throttle curves from 0 to 100. That just means as you move your transmitter stick, it'll slowly spool up. Your helicopter will spool up. Now in idle up mode, which is what I fly in, Pitch curves I have right now 0 to 100. You can tame that down a little bit, make it feel like your helicopter. This is a good starting point. And then idle up throttle curve 100% across the board. And this is how I fly. This means the blades are always spinning. With this you can do inverted hovering and flips and rolls and stuff like that. And model parameters. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. You can modify all this to make it feel like your own helicopter. If you're not sure what to do, just start out on default here, and default should get you flying on this simulator, and then you can go and play with those a little bit more later. Swash imperfections, you can also change things because I have them all set to 0, no imperfections. But normally remote control helicopters are not perfect, and so this is just to make it feel more like your helicopter. View, this is the way I fly it. You can change these, see what you like the best. Sound, I turn all my sounds off. Joystick, help is just the help thing. Joystick here, controller select if you choose your PC joystick driver. Calibrate, I'm not going to go into this right now. It's pretty easy. You're going to want to do this. First do the mapping and then do the calibrate. When you do the calibrate, it basically just tells you center all your sticks and hit OK. So you want to turn off your idle up, make sure it's all at 0. Center your transmitter sticks physically, hit OK, and then it'll tell you to move your sticks in circles. So you move your sticks in circles and hit OK again. Basically what it's doing is finding the endpoints, the physical endpoints of your transmitter and how they relate to the signal that it receives. So you're going to want to do that before you start flying. But before you do that, you want to go into mapping here. So here, this is important. Roll cyclic, you can see I had to reverse the cyclic roll. That's your right to left rolling. Your pitch cyclic, I left it normal. Tail rotor, I had to reverse that one. Throttle, I had to leave it normal there. And then here you're going to want to put use simulator throttle pitch curves. That's what I was talking about. So that way it's not using your transmitter curves, it's using the simulator curves. So you're going to want to make sure that box is checked. At least a good way to start out with. Throttle hold, I have a keyboard button. I don't even remember which one is throttle hold on here. I could set that up, but I don't really use that on the simulator, so I haven't messed with that. Idle up, you can, this one is where I had to use the gear switch to idle up. So what you do, you're going to need to choose this. So off, let me see if it says on. See, that's when I flip my gear switch on and off. You can see the throttle is changing to 100% here, and that's changing from on and off. So I have it off right now, but this is how you choose which switch on your transmitter is your idle up switch. You hit choose, you get all these boxes that are gray. This relates to all your different channels. And for some reason the actual idle up switch doesn't change anything from black to gray. But if I switch this one, you can see how it turned black, gray, black, gray, if you can see that box in the background. So that means that this box right here is my gear switch box, or my gear switch, basically. And so I want idle up to be my gear switch. Click on that one, and it's off, and you can see if I flip it, it says on right there. I'll go ahead and leave that off for a minute. And the other thing that you're going to need to choose here, and I don't remember if I had to change these initially, but you might have to set these up initially. So if things don't look like they're working right, when you move your cyclic stick left and right, that should do left and right. See if we can get this all in. One, right, left, right. That's what I'm doing. So left, right. You can see if I unreverse it, when I go left, it actually says right here, and when I go right, it says left, so I'm going to need to reverse that. And then to choose which signal you're using, you hit the choose button, and then you move it left and right to see. And you see how channel 0 is moving when I move that left and right? So that is what I want my roll to be. And you can see when I move it up and down, channel 1 moves. Here I'll move my tail, the rudder, left and right, and this is my throttle, up and down, or my collective. So basically, for this roll cyclic, left, right, I'm going to have to hit channel 0. You're going to want to do that for your pitch cyclic. This is the up and down, and for your collective pitch. Throttle is throttle, and collective means collective pitch. Pitch cyclic just means your elevator. I've always heard it called elevator, and roll being aileron, but this is what they call that here. So you're going to want to make sure everything is working correctly, the way it should be. If I hit idle up, you can see my collective goes down to 0. Throttle goes there. I can move my sticks around. Throttle stays at 100% because that's how I set up my throttle curves. Collective goes from 0 to 100% when I'm in idle up. So that's that basically. That should get you flying. If you hit OK there, I'll go ahead and do simulation. Let's reset this, and we're off. It's a little hard to fly with one hand, and I crashed. So that's that though. That should work out for you. And if you have any questions, let me know. Alright, hope this helps. Bye.